Hi, this is Cale from Cherry Hill Academy. What I just played is one of the first pieces that I like to give to beginning classical guitar students. It's a study in A minor by Dionisio Aguado. So I'm going to show you how to play the first four measures of this piece. So first of all, you might notice that I'm sitting in a little bit different way than you're used to seeing guitar players sit. So for the classical sitting position, we put the guitar on the left leg. I like to use this cushion to put the guitar up in a comfortable position for me, but a lot of people use a footstool that will raise their left leg, and so you can still hold the guitar like this. But I like to sit with my feet flat, so that's why I use the cushion. So when you put the guitar on your left leg, you also want to tilt the instrument so that the head of the instrument, so this part, is basically level with your head, so you can think head to head. We have some labels that we use for the right hand fingers because the main thing that sets classical guitar playing apart from other styles of playing is that we use all the fingers of our right hand. So we use letters to stand for the fingers on our right hand. The thumb is P, the index finger is I, the middle finger is N, and the ring finger is A. So for this song, we're going to use these three fingers. P for thumb, I for index, N for middle. So if we could zoom up on my right hand here. So we're going to plant the thumb on the third string. Remember, we count the strings starting with the thinnest one that's closest to the floor. 1, 2, 3. That's where our thumb goes. Your thumb's going to act like a kickstand for the rest of the hand, keeping your palm and your other fingers and your wrist all elevated above the strings. I have a thumbnail, and that's what I use to pluck the string. But even if you don't have a thumbnail, you can use just the very corner of your thumb. And you're just going to push the thumb past the string using the big knuckle at the base of your thumb. When we start to pluck with the fingers, you're gonna place the index finger, the very tip of the finger on the string, and you're going to move the finger towards the palm of your hand. So from your view, the finger is just going to look like that. You don't have to touch the palm, but you can imagine if you were going to touch the palm of your hand with the tip of your finger, that's the direction you would be going. And we'll do the same thing with the middle finger. Prepare the very tip of the finger on the string and just move towards the palm of your hand. Now for this song, we have a pattern of fingers. It goes P, I, M, I. And it just repeats over and over for the whole song. So let's try that really slowly. P, I, M, I. Thumb, index, middle, index. So now let's talk about the left hand. So let's remember our numbering for the left hand fingers. Index is finger 1, middle's number 2, ring finger's number 3, and the pinky's number 4. So for our first chord, basically how this piece works is we keep the right hand pattern going while we play different chords with the left hand. And then our first chord, we're going to place finger number 1 on the first fret of the second string. We're going to place finger number 2 on the second fret of the third string. So I'll move these fingers out of the way just so you can get a good look. But of course while I play, I'm going to keep all my fingers ready to play. So if we hold these two down and then we do our pattern, it sounds like this. So that's our first chord. One of the easiest things about this song is the fact that we actually don't have to lift up finger number 2 for this whole first 4 measures. So everything I'm teaching you right now, we can leave finger number 2 on the third string. It's going to slide to different frets, but it's going to stay on the string. So for our second chord, we lift up finger number 1, we slide finger number 2 down to the first fret of the third string, and then we do our pattern again 2 more times. So So far we have chord number 1. This is an A minor. And chord number 2 is an E major. Our third chord, we call it the same shape. It's a very similar shape as our first chord. So if you get that first chord back with finger number 2 on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, finger number 1 on the 2nd string, 1st fret, and just slide it up 2 frets. So for our third chord, finger number 1 is going to be on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, finger number 2 is going to be on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. So this is just an inversion of an E7 chord. And then we go back to our chord number 1, A minor. 2 times. So we have chord 1, chord 2, chord 3, and then back to chord 1. So when we combine that with the pattern, so even though this is a very simple classical guitar piece, as classical guitar pieces go, it's going to require a lot of deliberate practice before you can play through this. So one of the things I like to do with my students is have them separate the hands. So we'll practice just the right hand pattern that we talked about by itself, like this. Because we want the right hand to function without thinking about it too much. Because the left hand has to move a little bit more, it has a little more complicated job, so we want to kind of put the right hand on autopilot so we can move the chords around. So that can be thing number 1 to practice, is just the right hand pattern. The second thing to practice is the chords. So chord 1, chord 2, chord 3, back to 1. So you can even just strum these with your right hand thumb and just practice moving to all the different chords. Or you could even slow it down and give yourself like a beat or 2 to switch the chords. So switch, 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 switch. And you could use a metronome to speed this up gradually. And then finally, put the 2 parts together, starting out slowly. And then, after you've practiced this for a few weeks, it's a song that lends itself to being played really fast, so you can kind of look like you're showing off a little bit, and that's a lot of fun. So after you've done your practice, you can learn the whole thing, and it'll sound like this.